It's weird. Isn't it weird how the memory works too? The other day, I'm off. I wash my hands at some restaurant, right? I go back in. I'm sitting down. I'm having a cappuccino. I'm talking. I kind of scratch my nose after that. And I swear to God, that second, I got almost like visions from smelling the soap on my hands of my elementary school. They must have used the same exact soap. I pictured the kids, the room, the classroom I used to have, everything all just off of one smell. It's almost like I didn't have a choice. That visions just popped in on me.
I can do that with more like with smells of food. Like if I go into some place, all of a sudden I'll go back to that school cafeteria.
All right, well, give me a type of food that takes you back.
If there's a certain way like a hamburger's being grilled, all of a sudden it'll smell like the way they cook the hamburgers in high school, in the lunchroom.
What works for you, Earl? Are you a smell guy too?
Yeah, I'm definitely a smell guy where there's like I was passing by, I don't know, like a bakery in the city over the weekend, and I smelled, it was like fresh bread. Yeah. For whatever reason, my memory jarred back to riding on the bus. We used to pass the Tasty Factory along the Van Wyck Expressway. Yeah. And that was the same smell. And I was like, oh my God, I'm 6 years old again.
I know, it can do a smell might be the most powerful. Now, a song for me, unbelievable. A song can take me back. And another thing that can take me back is just like when you're waking up sometimes, particularly if you slept in on the weekend, if you have the window open and you can hear birds, sometimes I'll hear that and I'll go, I'm going to open up my eyes and be back in my old bedroom, because it really does just like that.
Well, I think weather does. Like, that's what I was going to say. For me, weather is a big memory trigger.
Really?
Yes. Like when it's warm.
So scared of
memory trigger.
Oh,
trigger.
I thought you were being racist.
No, and when it's
because I was going to call Earl that when he smelled the bread.
But when it's when there's a certain feel to a summer air, I think of a kid. Or when there's like a certain briskness, I think of fall football when I'm 12 years old.
All right, like I know what you mean there too. There is a pre-storm feeling that can take you back.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that feeling is. It's almost like there's electricity in the air. But I forgot this one. Any late fresh cut grass reminds me of football, not baseball. I will always, must have been because they used to shove us on the ground. Your face was in that grass. But it always reminds me of that. Here is Hank. Hank, you're on Fez. Hank, we got you, buddy?
Oh, yeah, what's up? Yeah, the memory is actually related to smell because your olfactory nerve actually runs right into your hippocampus in your brain, which is related right into memory. That's why when you smell something, your memory pops in right away because it's the synapse of the nerves are so close.
You know, that's interesting that you said that, because sometimes a bad perfume can remind you of a one-night stand. You won't even remember the broad, but you remember, like, that smell will connect with all the hideousness that went down.
And when I smell like a fur coat, I always think of my Aunt Grace, who always wore fur coats and everything. It could be on, a hot-looking 20-year-old.
Oh, speaking of which, too, because my old aunts used to powder themselves up, strippers will remind me of my old aunts. Because I don't know what strippers really powder themselves up a lot, I guess, to stop the sweating. And I'm like, I'm a little turned off here. Hey, John, you're on Fez.
How you doing, guys? I love your show.
Yeah, it's great. I heard that from the Suits.
The first thing I was going to mention is mothballs. You know how your grandma used to put them in the closet or something, and you smell that mothball?
Yeah, it's disgusting smell.
Yep, yeah, it's strange, but it reminds me of my grandma. The other thing is, have you ever had the experience where you hear a certain song from a long time ago combined with, like, how the sun, like, comes through the window and the way the day is, and you just freeze, and you get this strange feeling about the past? You can't really put your finger on it, you know?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean there. There is music, and I think that's why they use music so much in movies now, like to set up the 70s or the 80s. They go out of their way, like, you're supposed to know in no time at all what year it is just by the music that they're using in a movie.
Well, movies are primordial. They hit your primordial, like, spot, you know what I mean? Like, because music is the first art form.
Well, and you're not going to pick up any smells either from music.
Right.
Yeah.
A taste one that'll give it to me is that St. Joseph's baby aspirin. That orange-flavored aspirin.
Love a baby aspirin.
I know that. Well, that is a taste that will take me right back to being a kid.
Now, you know what's weird also is when I smell baby powder, I don't think of babies, but I think of pool because we had a pool table in our
talcum
in our basement, and we used to put baby powder on our hands to get the stick nice and slippery.
Oh, you wouldn't use like that old-fashioned talc?
No.
Because remember, like when you used to have to go get a regular boy's haircut, like your dad would take you, that stuff that they would smack on you. What was the name of that? It came in like green and white, and God, it's real old school. The names.
Is it the Clubman?
I think it may be Clubman. You may be right about that. But they would have a powder, there would be a cologne, there would be it would all be lined up there. You never see it in real life.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter where you grew up. Every barbershop had that, so that memory will just take you right back there.
And every kid had that haircut at least once in his life.
Yep.
Where you're getting your hair cut by an old Italian man who really doesn't care what you want. No, I don't want you to look like David Bowie. I want you to look like Johnny Unitas. That's how you're going to leave here, looking like Johnny U. Dave, you're on Run of Fez.
Yo.
Yeah.
It is so funny that you brought this up. I've been into a piece of rye bread today, and it took me back to Sunday afternoon watching Abbott and Costello's on TV.
Is that right? Just one piece of rye bread?
One piece of rye bread. That's all it took.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right, peace. Donald, you're on Run of Fez.
How about the creosote from new telephone poles? It always reminds you of, like, Seaside Heights Boardwalk or a boardwalk.
You know, you're right about that. Railroad ties will also have, and I don't know what that oil is. He just mentioned it, but I was never sure. But it always has that smell of the boardwalk.
And tar, too. When you smell some tar, you think of the boardwalk, you think of maybe your first kiss with the girl.
With a guy. I bet you did.
A girl.
There is no smell like a boardwalk. You gotta admit that.
It's funny you mentioned tar, like the smell of tar. I don't know if you guys used to play this game. Remember the game Skelly? It was like you used to play with bottle caps and you used to fill it with tar. And that was to help make the cap.
When did you grow up? Depression?
No, but somebody who grew up in
Where
Queens
were there even jars of tar around so that you could even put them in bottle caps?
The construction guys would be working on the street. There was always some type of construction going on. And one of the things some guys used to fill it up with candle wax. Some guys used to fill it up with, and I used to fill it up with tar. And it was, I can't even explain the game, but it was like a street.
It's weird for me. Whenever I see anyone eating a giant bowl of food, I always think of HTG. It's just a constant thing, but I'm always thinking that way. Vince, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
Yeah.
All right, listen, I wanted to tell you why that soap, kind of signified that memory in your head.
Yeah.
Because the olfactory sense is the one that's close to the part of the brain that stores memory. So what happens is when there's a trigger, it's the closest nerve to that
people
part.
are so scared of black people.
It wasn't that, sir. It was just a smell.
He said trigger.
No, Ron,
White
listen.
people
Ron.
are so scared of black people.
I don't care what they smell like. We're all brothers. The weirdest thing is when I smelled this, right? Not only, it wasn't like I was like thinking about my old elementary school. The visions came flashing back like a flashback, like I could almost see them. It's like I could have almost stepped into this. It was so incredibly powerful. Like even in the memory, the colors were very bright. And I would have been able to sit there in that second and been able to tell you everything about that. Now, here you go. All right, so if memory is tied in with smells, right? Mm-hmm. Why don't we come up with this invention? We have something for kids when they're studying their spelling words. They sit there and they can smell some kind of perfume while they're studying. Just reading the words, smelling. Then when it's test day, they just break off that perfume, they smell it, and maybe it should kick in and help them work it out.
That's not fair.
Why not
That's
fair?
like cheating. That's
Cheating
like cheating.
No.
You can't have an outside source then trigger your memory.
Why not?
Because it's the same thing as storing like math answers on a calculator.
No,
you're storing the answer in the perfume.
No, it's in the brain. That's where it's coming from. The answer isn't in the perfume. I couldn't look at your perfume and be able to come out. This would be help to trigger the memory in your brain.
Oh, we got to get some kids and try this.
I definitely want to.
I think more research has to be done. I don't think it's honest.
Flight benefits, you're on Fez. How are you,
Hello.
Flight?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, darling.
The smell of countries when you open an airplane door never leaves you. You will remember the smell of your vacation or wherever you are from being closed up in that aircraft for so long. When
I bet. That's really probably true, huh? Each place, particularly when you're right into the outside, right? When you're opening up on a ladder rather than into an airport.
I can tell you what Italy smells like in my brain. You just can't put it into words, you know?
Interesting. All right, thank you so much, darling.
You're welcome.
All right, peace.
I bet it smells like pizza. That'll be my guess.
Why would it? Seriously, you're a stupid
I'm
idiot.
just my guess.
You're thinking of Jersey.